But human relationships are, are very important. We look at Chloe, I think her name was, yeah, how the connection with Rick was her connection with Rick was so important that it cost her her life. And throughout, like now that I'm watching the show, throughout, their interactions, there's a theme. I will die for you. I'm willing to give my life to save you so I can maintain, our connection. I don't care how badly you treat me. I don't care how dismissive you are of me. I don't care how secretive you are in terms of what you're doing. I don't care how you seem to be annoyed with who I am as a person. I want to maintain this connection, and I'm going to do everything that I can to maintain it, even if it costs me my life, which is ultimately that's what happened to Chloe. So I do think that we need to, while we're looking at the whole hustle culture, of careers, our businesses, and how the world perceives us, how we present ourselves to the world, the whole aesthetics and all of that. I think we need to be paying more attention to our relationships with others that are close to us, our relationships with others in terms of community, and that how that impacts the greater, the greater world. So I think that's what I think for me that was the biggest thing that came out of out of the show. I know somebody would argue, well, the whole point of the White Lotus is about human relationships, but I think we tend to downplay that a little bit and not look at fundamentally where it takes us in terms of how we need to think about it and how we need to we need to perceive it, because we do perceive it at a deeper level. A lot of people are asking in terms of part of the character development, the relationships between certain characters, how that never developed into anything. When Kate asked, I forgot what the character's name is. I'm really bad with characters' names. But when she approached the woman at breakfast and said, we attended the same baby shower together, I thought that was going to develop into something. And maybe it will in another, in another season, in the next season. Maybe that's going to develop into something. Maybe that will, we've seen characters in the White Lotus move from season one to season two to season three even. So maybe that's going to develop into something. So we do pay attention into this to these things because they matter, right? And recently I posted something on a professional networking platform around relationships and around my matchmaking business, which is not something that I would typically do because I viewed the platform as not, you know, uh, matching the kind of content that I would want to promote in terms of the matchmaking business. But I realize in terms of audience types and the audiences that I want to reach, most of them are on that platform. So we need to be a little less shy about the fact that we need connection as humans, and how that plays a big role in whether we're fulfilled or not, and whether we're happy or not, and whether we are content or not. I think we need to pay like a lot more attention on those things. So I was talking on that platform about workplace relationships and how we've made them so taboo. But at the end of the day, we spend 8 hours, sometimes even more, at work interacting with people. So that's the usually the only place, um, um, or the place where we have the most probability of of making connections with people, whether at a friendship level or at a romantic level. Although, for career longevity, we know that people don't usually, especially in working environments, don't usually have the best intentions. Everybody's in survival mode. Everybody is in preservation mode. So you do get sometimes advice that don't make friends in a work environment, which I mean, I suppose makes sense. I think with my experiences, I've worked in two main work environments, and the one I've made like the best of connections with people across the board, and the other one not so much. It was an incredibly bad experience, let me put it that way, and you realize that connections that you thought were real are not. People are just leveraging you, and people are just fishing information from you, and all of that stuff. So I guess it's up to the person. You walk into a brand new work environment, you assess, the kind of people that are surrounding you, or how the culture encourages the behavior of people in terms of how they will eventually connect with their fellow co-workers, and then you can make a decision on whether you're going to maintain self-preservation, or you're going to be open to making connections, because you don't know what's going to happen. You might make your best friend, you might even find a life partner in an environment like that. Which interestingly, in the White Lotus, from what I've read, is that some of the characters in real life, so Chloe and Rick, apparently, allegedly in real life, did actually might have had something based on how they've been behaving outside of the show, following each other and unfollowing each other on Instagram, and the other one being overcompensating in terms of their communication with his communication with his wife on social media. So it points to um, that something might have happened, which talks to the point again of human connections, that they're going to happen whether we like it or not. Shooting a show is a work environment, is as good a working environment as any, and people are going to connect on various levels. And even the actors on the show did say that the experience in Thailand was something else. So as much as their characters projected an experience which made a show that we all watched and enjoyed, they also had an experience outside of while shooting the show, but experiences that were outside of the show that shaped how they view the world, or gave them perspectives, different perspectives of how the world is. So I guess my message for today is, balance is important, fulfillment is important. I think we need to pay more attention to, um, to making real connections, and making real life connections. I think that will get us closer to each other than all this fighting that we're doing on social media, which is not healthy. It's making us regress as the human race. Let me put it that way. I think we need to find a way back to each other that is much more healthier than how we've been engaging on the internet, and on the various platforms on the internet. Shameless plug, my matchmaking business is called Titiro Lifestyle. So if you're looking for somebody, hit us up at www.titirolifestyle.com.